All right, if you're gearing up to graduate in 2026, this one's for you. You're about to walk into one of the most interesting and, yeah, challenging job markets we've seen in a while. But why is that? Today, we're going to break down the data and show you exactly what's going on and what it all means for your future.
So let's just jump right into the big question on everyone's mind. Is the job market actually, closing its doors to new graduates? Well, the numbers are hinting that something pretty big is shifting, so let's get into it.
The consensus is pretty clear, and honestly, it's probably not what you want to hear. The forecast for the 2026 job market is looking a whole lot cooler than what we've seen in the past few years. Let's pull back the curtain and see the numbers driving this change.
Okay, this table from the National Association of Colleges and Employers, it tells a really powerful story. Just look at the 2023-2024 row for a second. A whopping 75% of employers saw the market as good to excellent. Things were looking great. Now, let your eyes drift down to the projection for 2025-2026. See how those poor and fair columns have just swelled? That's the cooling trend right there, plain as day.
So what's the bottom line here? Look at this. In just a couple of years, the slice of employers who feel kind of meh or negative about the market has more than doubled. It's jumped from just 24% to a pretty staggering 51%. That means over half of employers now see the job market for new grads as just poor or fair. That's a huge, huge shift in confidence.
All right, let's do a quick fire round of the numbers behind this feeling. First up, full-time job openings are down by more than 16% compared to a year ago. That just straight up means fewer doors to even knock on.
And what about the doors that are still opened? Well, the competition is getting intense. There's been a 25% jump in the number of people applying for every single job. So we've got fewer jobs and a lot more people fighting for each one.
And all of this leads to a tough number, 4.8%. That was the unemployment rate for recent college grads as of June 2025. What's important here is that it's noticeably higher than the national average for everyone else. It really shows that this is a unique challenge for those just trying to start their careers.
So that's the what. We can see the numbers, we can see the trend, but the really big question is why? What's actually causing this? What are the headwinds that the class of 2026 is sailing right into? It really seems to boil down to a perfect storm of three things. First, there's just a lot of economic uncertainty making companies nervous about hiring. Second, you've got the explosion of AI, which is totally changing the game for entry-level work. And third, more and more employers are looking for people who already have experience, which kind of leaves new grads in a tough spot.
Let's focus on that AI piece for a second. This isn't some far-off future thing. It's right here, right now. We're hearing from top executives that, yeah, AI is going to start handling a lot of those foundational tasks that new hires used to do. Things like data entry, basic research, stuff like that. This completely changes what it even means to be the new person on the team.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, in the past, your main competition was basically the person sitting next to you in class. Now, the whole game has changed. You're not just competing with other grads. You're up against seasoned professionals who might have been laid off, and like we just said, you're also competing with the capabilities of AI itself.
And it's easy to see these as just trends and statistics, but they have a real human impact. As one recent grad said, seeing all the layoff news, getting lost in a sea of applicants, and just the uncertainty around AI, it's all creating a massive amount of stress and anxiety for people trying to get that first career started.
But, and this is really important, it's not all doom and gloom. The picture isn't universally bad. While some doors might seem like they're closing, other ones are definitely opening. You just have to know where to look, because some industries are actually pushing back against this trend.
So, where are these bright spots? Well, the data is pointing to real growth in three big areas. First is education, which is dealing with ongoing teacher shortages. Then there's healthcare, which is booming because of the needs of an aging population. And finally, manufacturing, which is seeing a big comeback here at home. These fields are hiring, and they're offering real opportunities for new grads.
So, we'll leave you with this to think about. The old playbook for how to land your first job, well, it's being completely rewritten by things like the economy and artificial intelligence. The most important question for every single student and new grad right now is this. In a world where AI is changing what an entry-level job even is, what are the skills, the experiences, and the qualities that are going to make you the one who stands out?